Hey there kids, it's your good buddy Dr. Uncle Ben, and welcome to the newest installment of The Lick Doctor, the series in which we're taking your licks and making them sick. Now this is the first publicly available episode of The Lick Doctor that I have done, but my lovely and loyal Patreon community has been hip to this series for a while now. Anybody who supports my channel over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars gets access to all the other Lick Doctor episodes, in which my lovely and loyal Patreon community sends me videos of something that they're working on, whether that be a particular Weekend Wank Shop episode, or solo, or even just technique they're trying to get through, and I offer them some detailed feedback. That way they can become a better shredder. This week, everybody who supports my channel on Patreon, even at just a $1 a month level, or more if you feel so generous, is going to get access to all those other Lick Doctor episodes, as well as downloadable tabs to follow along for this lesson. These are tabs that I made based on live performances of Kirk playing the solo, so they should be a whole lot more accurate than the stuff that floats around on the internet. So don't delay, sign up today. Thanks. As a reminder, there's another awesome way you can help support my channel, which is to click the Sweetwater affiliate link that's in the video description here and buy yourself something nice during Sweetwater's Guitar Month. That's right, the entire month of September is Guitar Month at Sweetwater, and they're offering up all kinds of crazy deals on everything you need to make some nice sounds around the house. So be sure to click that affiliate link below and buy yourself something cool from Sweetwater to help celebrate Guitar Month. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm playing my lovely Suhr Modern Terra into this Friedman BE100 head, which I'm absolutely in love with. I've got that running into the Suhr Reactive Load IR box, going straight into my interface and being recorded in Logic, where I've also got a little stereo delay running for some added ambiance. Today's video comes from my man John over in Ireland, who sent me this video of him playing one of Kirk Hammett's most iconic solos. And John learned this solo from some of the Metallica tabs that float around the internet, which, as usual, are complete doo-doo. There's so many bad Metallica tabs out there that I just can't believe it. He's doing a pretty dang accurate job right here, but there's a few things that we're going to clean up and get phrased exactly right. Let's check it out. Let's check out what he's got going on here for the first section of this solo. Okay, so John's off to a pretty good start right here. He's playing the lick in the 12th position, which according to all the live videos I've seen is correct. A lot of the tabs I see have you putting that first kind of E minor 9 arpeggio down here in the 7th position, but Kirk plays it up here at the 12. So you're already off to a great start. So I noticed when you got to right here that your middle finger was doing all the heavy lifting with those slides, right? This is actually pretty accurate to how Kirk himself plays it, because I've noticed in the live videos he goes from his third finger and then does his first for both of those right there. I find you can actually get it smoother sounding if you do this countdown thing. 3, 2, 1. Then you're never asking any finger to do double duty and change positions, which might leave a little gap in between the notes and stuff. So maybe try it this way instead. Next we get to a section that features some little dyads played on the high strings, and there's this particular god-awful tab that's floating around on like Ultimate Guitar and Songster and all these other sites that features you playing like a little flat 5 thing like this. That is absolutely not what's on there. I looked at a ton of other covers here on YouTube, and that's how like a lot of people are playing it, but that is not what is going on. John's pretty dang close here, but let's just tidy it up a little bit. So you're pretty dang close. He does start off here with that G and B dyad up here on the top 2 strings, and then he drops down to these. So this other little minor 3rd dyad on the top 2 strings. It's a little hard to hear all those notes underneath all the distortion and compression on the album, but if you hunt here on YouTube, you can find the isolated guitar track and hear exactly what Kirk is doing, and you'll hear that harmony kind of continuing. Now at this point, he kind of slides that dyad up and down, But it sounds like he loses the first finger note in there somewhere when he slides up. Because when he comes down, you don't really hear the high note anymore. Again, a happy accident. After this, there's one more little dyad that he hits, D and F sharp. And then you have this phrase. I think your phrasing on that was just a little bit different on your cover that you sent me. And then the rest of that is exactly how you had it. After this section, we hit some of the highest licks in the solo, starting off with some little 3-string groupings, and then a descending scale run. Let's check this out. So you're pretty much bang on right there. I should be a better guitar teacher and tell you to use your little finger when you play those, rather than 1, 2, and 3, but I'm not about to call the pinky police on anybody. I ditch that thing all the time too. Now after you play this one right here, kind of the E dyad, wait a little while longer before you slide down. You know, the next shape's the exact same thing basically, but his slide down to it is more like at the last second, like this, rather than kind of immediate like that. Again, push it back until the last second. And then the run, you have exactly right. Whenever you do that bend, announce its return to its central pitch with another pick stroke. Pick, pick, like that. Next section features an A minor arpeggio followed by some descending legato. Let's see how John handles it. Iconic little ending to that solo. You did a pretty dang good job with that section right there. Your timing could be just a little bit better, but I think we can actually solve that if we change the way that we pick it. So it starts off, you're walking up this A minor arpeggio, then you have that descending figure on the high E. A lot of tabs have that going up this way, but it's actually down the high E string. I always used to struggle with licks like this because I would try to sweep and then switch to more of an alternate picking kind of approach. I always had a hard time keeping stuff like that in time and really groovy because you're essentially trying to like fall through the strings at a controlled pace, right? It's not super fast to where you can just sweep through it and you'll probably be close enough. It has to be right there in the groove, and I find when I'm doing this, it's really hard to keep it tight, if that makes sense. This is actually really similar to something I talked about on one of the very first Lick Doctor episodes, in which I helped one of my lovely and loyal patrons conquer the over the mountain licks that Randy Rhoads plays. It kind of starts off with this deal. Now again, that starts off with like a sweep that leads into some alternate picking, and it's always hard to make that change happen. Keeping in the groove this way, keeping in the groove this way, it's really hard to do. So I suggested for that one, and I suggest for this one, actually just getting used to this cross-picking mechanic and alternate pick your way through it. If your hand is going like this, it's a lot easier to keep in time than going from this to then trying to keep in time with your alternate picking. So whenever you play that, try starting off on a down, up, just like that. And I guarantee you're going to be doing a lot better whenever you get into that descending section. You're going to be a lot more in time. Now, whenever you do that, you've got to make that cross-picking motion happen by using this kind of twist of the wrist. It's kind of like turning a doorknob or a key or something like that. Because whenever you do that, your pick is going to escape off of the downstrokes and the upstrokes both. Whereas if your pick is like very flat and you're trying to alternate pick, you're going to get really caught inside of the strings. So try to alternate pick your way through this. It might take you a little while to get the speed up, but I guarantee it will be worth it. Down, up, down, up, down, down, down. It's just a lot easier to keep in time with than going from the sweep to the picking. And then the last bit, you've got that covered exactly right. I see a lot of tabs that have you doing this crazy like Eric Johnson string skipping thing, and that is absolutely not what Kirk does. It's just one shape moving up and down on adjacent strings. So now that we've got all the transcription stuff covered, I want to take a second here at the end of the video and talk about your picking technique and ways you might be able to improve it. Because I noticed on some of those kind of faster runs that you have in there, like that lick right there, I see a lot of this motion moving the pick. And there are a lot of players out there that can kind of pick from the thumb and have incredible results. YOLO Mouse Meat is one of them. Chris Brooks here on YouTube is another guy that gets incredible speed out of using his thumb. So I'm not saying that like picking from the thumb is a bad thing, but picking from this joint right here at the end of the thumb, I've noticed this is problematic. And I know from firsthand experience because I tend to do the same thing a little bit. And if you think about what's going on with your picking, it'll start to make sense. Because essentially we have the pick, which is trying to contact the string, right? But if this knuckle right here, this knuckle starts getting involved in the pick starts to make a motion that's sort of like a smiley face kind of arc, if you will. And that sometimes gets combined with that down and up trajectory that our picking usually does. And you end up making these really bizarre lines with the pick, if you think about it. This combination of going up and down while twisting and making this sort of smiley face motion that happens whenever we move the base of the thumb like that. This is something that you want to try to eliminate from your playing. I don't see a lot of players that get that up to massive levels of efficiency, speed, and accuracy. So if you're gonna pick from the thumb, I suggest making sure the motion comes from here. When you contract that muscle, you can see how it forces the tip of the pick down like that, right? This is the mechanic that guys like Chris and Yngve and a lot of other players use for incredible precision with their picking, but hardly any of them do this. Again, this kind of geometry is just too complicated to be hitting a stock straight string, you know? There's a lot of hit and miss in there. And again, I used to do it all the time too, and still do from time to time, so trust me, try to get that out if I was you. You could even take like a Band-Aid or a piece of tape and just tie it around that knuckle, you know, so you have a little bit more limited range of motion. You could try moving your pick grip back to where it's a little bit more under the knuckle. That kind of braces it and keeps you from bending it, or at least makes you conscious of it if you do. Or you could just kind of try to retool this a little bit and go for a more, you know, straight up from the wrist kind of approach like a lot of players take. But if that's not comfy for you, just try using this base of the thumb rather than letting this guy get involved, and I'm sure you're gonna have a lot more success, speed, and power. One more thing I want to talk about here. We talked about that cross picking over the A minor arpeggio. If that's a new thing for you and it's kind of uncomfortable, here's a great exercise you can do to practice it. Just put on like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings while you practice this. Go through the entire trilogy and you'll basically be like Steve Morse after you're done with this. So what I want you to do is to concentrate on the top 4 strings of your guitar. We're going to be using 1 finger per fret. This is actually like a John Petrucci like sweep picking exercise that I find really works great if you just adapt it for cross picking instead. What you're going to do is to start off here on your D string, play fret number 1 with your first finger. 3rd string here, 2. 2nd string, 3. 1st string, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's finger numbers and fret numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I want you to do is to turn that shape inside out. So you're going to go to 1 on the high E, 2 on the 2, 3 on the 3, 4 on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it inside out. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, you can either just move the entire exercise up a fret, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Or you can do what I like to do and just kind of slide it up off the last position. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, inside out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep with that same inside out shape and just move up a fret. 5, 4, 3, 2. Turn it inside out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's move this one up. 3, 4, 5, 6. Inside out. 3, 4, 5, 6. Take it up. 7, 6, 5, 4. You get the idea. And again, in the right hand, down, up, 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 down, up. It's going for these little key turning kind of motions. Let me give you a good down the barrel perspective here. Crimson song is this? You could try that on different string sets and stuff as well, but that's just a great one to get you used to this sort of key turning motion. It's just going to keep you more in time rather than sweeping whenever you're doing those kind of mid-tempo licks. There is a speed threshold where it's just like, yeah, you'd be better off sweeping it, you know? But for stuff like this, it's kind of mid-tempo. Try this guy out, and it's probably gonna lock you into the beat a lot more better. So there you go, guys, another successful operation for the Lick Doctor. Huge thanks to my man John from Ireland for sending that video in for critique and review. And as a reminder, if you support my channel over on my Patreon page, you get access to the other episodes of The Lick Doctor, in which we cover stuff by Ozzy Osbourne, Mastodon, all kinds of other stuff on there. Some Megadeth I've done. There's some good stuff on there to check out, as well as the chance to have whatever it is that you're working on featured on a future installment of The Lick Doctor. I can't guarantee I'll get around to like absolutely everything, but just sign up to Patreon and drop me a message and let me know whatever it is that you're working on. It can be a cover of a solo or song, it can be a Weekend Wank Shop lick, just a general technical thing that you're trying to work out. Whatever it is that you want to see featured here on a future installment of The Lick Doctor. Just drop me a message on Patreon and we'll start to get all the details and stuff sorted out. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to go buy yourself something nice from Sweetwater to celebrate Guitar Month. Just click the affiliate link down there in the video description if you want to help me out. And get away from this computer. Go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.